In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to process negative emotions. So first things first is we're not pulled aside in high school and really shown how to process negative emotions. This is something that is really challenging for a lot of people. Most times we have some sort of coping mechanism instead of actually understanding what a processing of an emotion looks like. It might be that we stay busy, or perhaps we eat something, or we go shopping, or we don't like to be alone because it feels too overwhelming, so we go get busy and go do things. And it's kind of anything we can do to not feel. But that doesn't mean that you've processed the emotion. It just means that the emotion came in, it stung you, and you sort of like moved on and did something else to try and distract. Processing an emotion is actually about a few stages. So first thing is to realize there's nothing wrong with an emotion. An emotion is a chemical reaction that happens with our body when our needs are not met or violated, right? So they're not met or violated, which are the sadder, madder, confused, negative types of emotions, or they are met and like we're feeling happier and peaceful and calm, and the happier sides of emotions. So the negative emotions are associated to a need that has not been met or violated. And it's a signal, it's an indication to us that something's not right in our universe. And we're trying to connect with what is the need that hasn't been met. So first things first, it's helpful to identify, well, what is it that I'm feeling? And when we're feeling very dysregulated, it's often not just one feeling. It's often like 3 or 4 that have actually layered. So it's useful to take a look to see, okay, in the mad or angry camp, what emotions am I feeling? Yeah, I'm scratchy, irritated, frustrated. Okay, yeah. Like, so in the mad camp or the angry camp, there's an array there. What about the confusion camp? Yeah, I'm puzzled. I don't get it. I don't understand what happened here. Okay, so I'm irritated because I'm confused, which is a bit different to just being irritated because we're just irritated. So it's a confusion irritation. Sad. Are you sad? Oh man, I'm just like bereft. I'm like distraught. I feel powerless. So the layers of emotions actually give us like a bigger picture rather than just like, I don't feel great, okay? So the nuances start to tell us, and they point a little bit like a little flashlight or roadmap to needs that are not met. Being confused, sad, irritated, what are the needs that are now not met? So tuning in with that, we start to then come to, well, what is it that I need to do to meet those needs? What is it that did not take place to meet those needs? So we're going through something we call the Pisces. So the Pisces is a system that was developed by Francine Shapiro, the founder of EMDR therapy. And we use this within our trauma work to kind of identify, well, when this thing upset you, what went through your mind at the time? Like what actually happened? What went through your mind? What were you thinking cognitively? Are there any images associated with that? Okay, what were you feeling? Are there nuances of feelings within your body? Okay, it's not just like one feeling, it's like layers of feelings. What were you feeling within your body? What was the sensation or the quality or the tension within your body? Well, it's like a tension in the neck or the jaw. Like, so where in your body are you feeling this thing? And then what needs were met, not met, or violated, or like what happened here? Okay, so these things are quite crucial because it starts to give us a little bit of a understanding of the nature of the negative emotion or the trigger that we're dealing with. The more triggers we have, the more unresolved trauma you have, because triggers tell us, it's like a trauma is like a trigger is like a tentacle from a past-based trauma. The more we have unresolved past-based trauma. So the processing of emotion is the acknowledgement of all these things across the Pisces. And then it's about slowing things down and feeling into it. Now, a few fun facts. Number 1, no emotion can last more than 26 minutes. That's been scientifically shown. So sitting in an emotion, you'll likely find after a period of time, it starts to dissipate or move into a different emotion, like layers of an onion. It's like underneath, like anger is usually hurt. Underneath hurt is like some flavor of sadness or grief or whatever. Underneath that is often like a fear or whatever. And then eventually you go through the layers until you hit like the nothing, okay, the void of feeling. You got to feel into that within your body. Emotions are felt within the body. They're not up here. This is how we try to articulate what's going on, but it's actually felt, and there's like the somatic presencing of it within the body and hanging out with it. And by hanging out with it, we give it a chance to say what it needs to say, like a ghost that needs to speak and discharge its message before it can move on. An emotion is the same thing, okay? So if you're struggling with this process, it helps to get some trauma therapy. So kind of work out and track, well, what are all the triggers that you've got? Is it mapped to some kind of past-based trauma? Do we need to kind of do this whole cycle to work out what the triggers are, where they come from? You know, are there hotspots from the past? Do we need to neutralize some of those instances so that you can have less emotional charge in the present? But there's kind of a simple formula associated to the processing of emotion as well. So in the moment that you feel an emotion, it's thinking of it, it's like emotion equals like there's some kind of thought plus some kind of sensation associated to it. So simplistically, it's linked to a need, but there's also some kind of thought or sensations. We want to process, we need to sit with it till it dissipates, but ultimately access the thought and see if we can shift the thought through languaging around it and talking about it. And also if we can access the sensation and shift it by changing state within the body. When we're sitting like this and all sad and dark and you know, this state, this body state, this physiological state will hold like a sad or disempowered negative emotion. The minute we put our shoulders back and we actually change the physiology, we can shift the emotion. So for tips and techniques and understanding of how to process emotion, do book a clarity call with us. We can go through it with you during the clarity call, or you can come and actually do a short course of some coaching or bespoke therapy to examine the trauma that you have within your life, the triggers that you have, so that you can learn to navigate and regulate your emotions in a more empowered way. For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel.